This is Captain America, the Winter Soldier. Miss Cormier. Oh boy, do I love this one. So the movie opens up with Falcon and Captain America jogging, and Captain America keeps on saying on your left and passes him on his left. And after the jogging, Falcon is worn out and Cap hasn't broken a sweat and gets picked up by Black Widow. She says she's here to pick up a fossil, kind of funny, for a SHIELD mission. So, Captain America and Black Widow talk when they're in the SHIELD jet, what was it called, Quinjet, anyway. And she tells Steve to relax. I'm sure there's a logical explanation why Nick Fury didn't tell you. And so Cap jumps right out of the jet without a parachute and lands on the ship where the bad guys are, and kicks ass and throws his shield and punches and stuff. And Black Widow comes to back him up, and so does the rest of the SHIELD. And Black Widow's trying to help him get a date. And Black Widow kicks ass, kills all these bad guys. She goes down this slides down these stairs, slide down the heights of stairs, and with this singlets attached to her back, and shoots all the bad guys, and including the one below her. And she flips a bad guy out, and she gets his attention, says, "Hey there, sailor," and kills them. Captain America got his eye on the target and says, "On his mark." And when Captain America says, "I could use some help," like Natasha, and she says, I'm coming, but I got my hands a little covered. So, on his mark, they fire at the bad guys to save this agent that works for SHIELD. And Captain America gets in a fight with this other bad guy that challenges him, that calls him basically, "I thought you were more than a," and says that, "I thought you were more than a SHIELD." And Cap says, "Let's find out." So he takes off his helmet and his shield, and which is the helmet's his mask. So he takes that off and kicks the guy's ass, and finds also out after that fight that was kind of staged. It looked a bit staged, actually, and a bit very rehearsed. And after that rehearsed fight action scene, we find out that Black Widow is on another mission, gathering SHIELD intel, stealing all information for SHIELD. And Cap says, "You compromise this mission," and she thinks that he's being a little overdramatic. and one of the guys escapes and throws a bomb, and they get for cover, and Cap's now pissed at Black Widow. And Black Widow is kind of knows that she fucked up with her relationship with Cap. So anyway, so Fury and Cap have a talk with each other. He can't work with a team that when the team has separate missions and without any trust. And Fury says that's Roman's mission because she's about comfortable with anything. You, on the other hand, not so, doesn't seem to be. And Fury says you're wrong about me. I do share. I'm nice like that. And they go into this elevator and down to the elevator and mention how like elevators used to play music. Cap tells Fury, and they find out what S.H.I.E.L.D.'s been making bigger, a lot bigger S.H.I.E.L.D. helicarriers, and more than one that has a bunch of weapons stuff on it. That's more deadlier than the other S.H.I.E.L.D. helicarriers. And Cap is shocked and doesn't like the looks of this, and says this ain't like this is like saying this is wrong, and this is not, this is like wrong, morally wrong, and this is fair, and dictatorship and stuff, and Fury talks about, like, says you did stuff and the army that there's some nasty stuff in the army. Yeah, it made us not really sleep a lot, but we did it for the freedom of the people. This ain't it. This is fair. And Fury says how the world's changing and you should get used to it. And you should get used to the world changing. And anyway, Cap basically says sayonara to Fury and goes to meet his ex-girlfriend, Carter, Agent Carter, who is now an old lady and and Steve came to visit her, and she asked Steve what's wrong. Yeah, and what's wrong is he doesn't know what the right thing is to do anymore, and that's all he always ever wanted to do was the right thing. So Steve is not happy, and Carter said you gotta live your own life now. I live a good life. And so he goes to see Falcon, and Falcon's having a therapy section with people who have retired from the army, and Falcon asks what makes you happy, and he says, I don't know. And he says, seriously, what makes you happy? You could literally do anything. You could be a fighter for, yeah. And Steve just says no. And anyway, Fury gets attacked by cops with machine guns. And I think the FBI. And the shooting at his vehicle. And Fury eventually Fury says to the cop, "Get me the hell out of here." And the cop is doing all sorts of gadgety stuff to try to get him out of here. Well, the car needs to reboot and says, "Well, reboot, damn it." Fury said that, so, the car finally reboots, and, while they're using a battering ram to, break the, they're using a remote control battering ram to break through the windshield, Nick Fury's windshield. Nick Fury says, "Wait, hold that order," until the windshield's weak enough so he can shoot right through it and shoot all the guys, and gets the hell out of there. And Fury's asking this guy to do all kinds of different things. Fights, none of the high-tech cool gadget stuff, like the car can fly technically, and the car can fly, and that's not functional. And in fact, nothing is functional. What cool out of this world stuff the car can do is all non-functional. And he asks, what is functional and still works? Air conditioning's fully functional. Like, that helps. And then the guy gets shot and flipped over. The guy gets flipped over, and we see this mysterious figure called the Winter Soldier, and we find out from Black Widow. And Nick Fury escapes, digs a hole through the cement and the car, and with a laser, and escapes, and goes to Cap's place, and says there's a molten shield. Tells him there's a molten shield by texting him, and by speaking out loud that his wife kicked him out when he when he's texting, there's a molten shield, and the shield's been compromised. And he kept asking, "I didn't know you had a wife." And the captain says, "What makes his friend?" And it says, "I don't." And it says, and Cap starts arguing with Fury because he broke, and he's doesn't tell Cap that much stuff as he wants Cap to know, as Cap wants to know. And so, anyway, Cap asks if anyone knows about your wife, and Fury says, and he texts him, "This you and me," and he gets shot. right in the heart, or somewhere in the chest. He gets shot with a sniper, and Captain America's neighbor turns out is a SHIELD agent, and Cap has his eyes on the target, and he goes like running after the target, and he uses Captain America's shield as a battering ram as he goes through these walls, solid concrete walls and stuff, and doors and stuff. And he throws his shield at the Winter Soldier, and his Winter Soldier catches his shield and throws and like gets away. And because I think the Winter Soldier threw the shield right back at, I think he threw it back at him. And he throws it back at him and gets away. And Black Widow's car comes to the hospital, and Cap, Black Widow, and Nick Fury's right-hand #1 girl that replace Romanoff is the all standing on the other side while the doctors are trying to help Nick Fury, and Nick Fury dies. Black Widow's taking it really hard. The hardest actually, tasted the hardest actually, and Captain America is like keeping something secret, because the last words that Nick Fury last words that Nick gave him says, "Don't trust anyone." So he gets called in by SHIELD, and Nick Fury's friend wants revenge on the person that killed him, and he thinks that person is Cap, and Cap is now a fugitive for SHIELD, and there's a scene where these all guys come in the elevator when Captain America takes the elevator to leave, and Cap says, before we're doing this, does anyone want to step outside? And Cap beats them all incredibly good. Even when they put the magnet to his magnetize him to something, he pulls the magnet and kicks their asses, kicks all their asses, and pulls the magnet and flips up the flips up his steps on his shield, and it flips up with the magnet still attached to him, and he uses the shield to knock the magnet out, and he tries opening up the elevator. People are waiting for him, and watching for SHIELD or waiting for him, and he closes the elevator again, and so he jumps out of the glass elevator, and lands on, and it shows, lands on the floor. Lands on this solid concrete, and people couldn't believe that he couldn't believe that he jumped out of an elevator, and he going to cross the bridge. He's going to the bridge to cross it, and on his Captain America motorcycle, and this robot jet fires at him, and he takes out that also, and by jumping right onto it and using his shield, and then like jumping right over the bridge and bending his bike, and also bending his bike. He goes back to the hospital where he hid the thing that Fury gave him before he died. He hid it in a candy machine, somehow, and next year, right with the Hubba Bubba, and we see the thing gone, and we see Black Widow chewing on Hubba Bubba, and he interrogates Black Widow and says, and Black Widow says, "I don't pretend I know everything, Steve." Which it says, and she keeps on asking her, "Where is it?" And it says, and she actually says, "Where did you get that? He gave that to you, didn't he?" and she told him about the Winter Soldier and how she left a scar on her, and she says, "Bye-bye the bikinis," and Kat says, "Yes, I bet you look horrible now in those." Sarcastically, he said that. Because she's hot. The joking, you see. My blood pressure is going down. And the anxiety in my chest. Hi, Miss Glummy. So anyway, what was I saying? Oh yeah, the Captain America and Black Widow now team up. Superhero team up. And now they're both running from the shield. And in the mall, Captain America and Black Widow pose as a couple, and well, she's looking for the location of the a location whatever the thing is, like Fury gave them, and finds the location, and Ace makes great conversation with guy that works there, Steve Rogers, and guy that works there makes great conversation that works at Apple, I think, and so they both get out of there, and and she actually comes up with a plan so one of the shield guys will knows that it's them, and she says, "Kiss me," and public display makes people, public affection makes people uncomfortable, and Captain Skill says, "Yes, they do," and she just kisses him, and as she's like, and until the guy looks away and leaves on the going while he's going down on the escalator and they're going up. No, wait, they're going down or they're going up? Yeah, they're going down and they're going and the shield agent's going up. And he looks in and makes him on the shield agent looks that direction and makes him incredibly uncomfortable. Like, all right, I'm sorry. And after Captain America's finished, after Black Widow finishes kissing Captain America, she says to Cap, "Are you uncomfortable now?" And Cap says, "Those wouldn't be the words I would use." Then they drive in the car together, in bonding and talking about planning and stuff, and she asks in the bonding and she asks, has that been your kiss since before you were on ice? and she's and she says, was this a question? It says, you don't need. I'm just looking for the right. Oh, you don't need practice. And she says everyone needs practice. And she says also to Captain America, what would you like me to ask? And Captain America says a friend, and she says you're in the wrong business if you want that. I say, Fred Rogers, and so they go to where the locations and and they see Shield place that used to belong to Shield, and he sees his picture of his girlfriend when she was young and worked for the agency, Agent Carter back in the day, and Steve is sad because he really still loves her. And he's sad that he missed out on a great girl. And so she knows that Steve looks a bit more glum now after seeing the picture of his ex-girlfriend. And the discovered a Hydra discover that Hydra is in S.H.I.E.L.D. Hydra is S.H.I.E.L.D. And they find this out by a computer spirit, a guy that's in a computer and talking, and was the same guy years ago that Captain America fought in the war was against Resco, and he says, Cap, I'm the same man and more. They couldn't save my body, but they could save my brain. Brains. And so the computer brain sends a torpedo bomb at them, and they duck for get cover, get duck for find cover, and the rest of Shield is like, or should I say Hydra, because Shield is part of showing, it's like gave you this little big history lesson how Hydra is connected to Shield, and Hydra is Shield, and Hydra has been and that the Winter Soldier have been helping since back in the day. Back in Cap's time period. That's how long the Winter Soldier's been helping out. Since to fix if there was ever a mistake, the Winter Soldier would be there. And so anyway, after they almost get blown up, and Captain America saves Black Widow, and as the Shield agents come to see if they're really dead, and the